So please let me know if you're interested. Ms. Paul has my business cards. So now that we've done this awesome stream restoration project, we want to do whatever we can to keep Pope Ranch clean, right? And one thing we can do to do that is reduce the amount of stormwater runoff going into that stream. So when I say stormwater runoff, I just mean rainwater that's hitting impervious surfaces, concrete, asphalt, your roof, sidewalk, driveway. And that water flows off of those surfaces into storm drains and into our streams. So we want to reduce the amount of water doing that. And one way we can do that is through this awesome residential program, River Smart Homes. River Smart Homes offers financial incentives and technical expertise for you all to install stormwater management practices on your property. So I'll get into what these practices are in a minute, but I first just want to highlight that all district residents are eligible for this program. So you don't have to be living in Pope Ranch watershed to be eligible. Anyone who is a district resident can participate in this program. Most eligible, or to be eligible, you do have to be living in a single-family home, a duplex, a row home, or a condo or apartment building with less than 4 units. If you live in a larger apartment building or a larger condo building, we do have some good options, but the program is just structured a little differently. So I'm happy to talk with you about those options later on. I'll say right now that Ms. Paul has the sign-up sheet for this, so at the end of the presentation, if you're interested, feel free to sign up with her. And she also passed around some brochures at the beginning, so many of you have those as well. I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the practices we offer through River Smart Homes. This is just a really general overview. So I'll say now that if you're interested in this program, the first step to participating is a one-on-one appointment with someone from the department. Is this okay? Can everyone hear? Okay, sorry about that. The first step to participating in the River Smart Homes program is what we call an audit. So this means either myself or one of my colleagues will come out to your property, sit down with you, and review the program. We'll go over what payments you would need to make and when, what practices you can have, and then we'll walk around your property and let you know what you're eligible for. So we really try to walk you through the process, try to make it really accessible. The first practice we have to offer are rain barrels. These barrels hook up to your downspout and store water that you can use for watering plants, your lawn, your vegetable garden, what have you. We offer shade trees. So anything from a smaller redbud to a large oak tree you can have planted on your property through this program. We offer rain gardens, which are a landscaping feature that captures and infiltrates water from a downspout on your home. These are really beautiful practices and also attract pollinators and provide habitat for wildlife. We offer bayscaping, which is native landscaping. Again, attracts those pollinators and really beautifies your yard. We offer rebates to remove impervious surfaces. So that could be an asphalt driveway, a concrete patio or parking pad, anything like that. We can help fund taking that surface out and either planting vegetation, as shown in the photos here, or installing permeable pavers. So these look like normal pavers, but they really allow the water to soak in underneath. Again, this was just a really brief overview of these practices. If you're interested in the program, again, the first step is we will come out to your property, sit down with you, and go over the programs. That appointment, you don't have to commit to anything, right? So there's no harm in having this appointment. After we meet with you, you could say, oh, none of these are for me, and that's totally fine. This is also a pretty heavily subsidized program. It depends from practice to practice. But for each of these, you're looking at a co-payment of between $50 to $100. And the government will cover the rest of it. Long term, the maintenance of these practices is all on you, the homeowner. So we'll help you a lot with upfront, and we'll provide you with the information you need to do maintenance on these practices, but that labor will be on you yourself. The last thing I want to talk about is our storm drain marking program. So The River Smart Homes program is a great way to reduce stormwater runoff coming from your home. But another thing that we want to do is educate folks about where the water goes when it goes into storm drains and encourage people to not pollute. So we've been slowly spreading these markers throughout the district, and these storm drain markers just say where your water goes, right? So it's a little reminder on the storm drain. This water flows to the Anacostia River, and please don't pollute, because that pollution, that litter will end up in the Anacostia. We're always looking for volunteers to install these markers. These are some students at American University installing them a few weeks ago. It's a really easy activity, great for kids, great for families and large groups. So if you all are ever interested in putting these markers around your neighborhood, great way to volunteer and spread the word about stormwater. So if you're interested in either volunteering for storm drain marking or signing up for River Smart Homes, we've got a sign-up sheet going around, and you can just flag down Miss Paul if you're interested. If we have time for questions, I can do that. Otherwise, I'll be sticking around through the end of the meeting, so feel free to come up to me after and ask any questions you might have.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. It was funny looking down, seeing Elizabeth Smart with Smart Homes. That was a perfect match. Keeping things moving along, we're going to talk about Zika virus. Well, I'm sorry, it might be a little bit more than Zika virus, so I shouldn't be too presumptuous. But we now have Ronald King with the D.C. Department of Health. I think a lot of you probably know him. I've seen him at a couple of meetings. So without much delay, I want to introduce Ron King with the D.C. Department of Health.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here because I think this is something that all of us can relate to. It's getting warm. I saw on Facebook this morning one of my neighbors mentioning that a mosquito had gotten into his house and bit him. And we went back and forth with some jokes about that. But it's getting warm, and they will be here soon. I want to talk primarily about Zika. In some of our conversation leading up to this meeting, we've discussed some of the other diseases that mosquitoes can bring, chikungunya, dengue, also West Nile. But Zika has been all in the news, and we want to address that. Last year, or I should say initially, we first became aware of Zika back in 1947 in the Zika Valley of Uganda. We didn't see any more cases of that until years later, in 2007. And then again in 2013, we saw some cases in Micronesia in the Pacific. But what has grasped all the attention seemed to take place in 2015 when it impacted Brazil and then spread through much of South America. In fact, all of South America, including the Caribbean and Central America, were very heavily impacted last year. If you recall 6th grade geography and you look at a map that's colored in red of all of those places that were impacted with Zika in South America, there's this little white slither on the Pacific coast, Chile, which didn't get impacted, and that's because of the Andes Mountains, which were so high, the mosquito did not migrate over to Chile on the Pacific coast. We being the District of Columbia, went down to CDC with other states in April, actually late March of last year, and we were taken aback that a lot of places had not begun to organize about that, but we took a very aggressive approach, and in fact, we came to be looked upon as the model to emulate in the country. You may recall last year we had major fairs throughout the city, one in May and another in July, where we distributed at recreation centers in each ward numerous kits And we also did presentations throughout the city, churches, civic associations, ANCs, and the like, to talk about the virus. And we distributed Zika kits, that we call them, which contain some of the materials that we use to combat the virus. So, but what we do in the health department is to focus on prevention initially before we have to deal with treatment, addressing something that might resolve. And so there are things that we can do to protect ourselves. The two mosquitoes that carry the Zika virus are the Aedes aegypti and the Aedes albopictus. I've brought with me information that we'll be distributing to all of you, so you'll be able to see just how these mosquitoes look. However, mosquitoes, as you know, are quite small. But these two mosquitoes, the Aedes albopictus, and the aegypti, are the mosquitoes that carry the Zika virus. Last year, we trapped and tested thousands of mosquitoes. We trapped throughout the ward, or throughout the city, 15,000 mosquitoes. We took them to the lab at the Department of Forensic Sciences, where we tested them. And I can say happily, there were 0 cases of chikungunya, 0 cases of dengue, and 38 cases of West Nile, so no illnesses, and 0 cases of Zika. So we were very happy about that. Now, we did have in the city 38 cases of Zika, but these were all travel related. People who had vacationed or gone to South America or places in the Caribbean and came back having been bitten in one of those countries. But there were no local cases of the mosquitoes we tested. None had the virus itself, and that's a good thing. So, how does one protect oneself against Zika? Well, in terms of travel, we strongly recommended last year, and we do so again this year, that women who are pregnant or of childbearing age, or couples who are looking for pregnancy, delay travel to any of the countries in South America, the Caribbean, where the virus is prevalent, until after the birth of the child. We strongly recommend that pregnant women not travel to those areas. If the male partner has a business trip or for some reason is going to travel to one of those places, we strongly recommend upon returning, if the wife is of childbearing age and expecting, that sexual relations be delayed for 8 months, unless barrier protection, meaning condoms, are being used. And that's very important, because unlike some of the other mosquito-borne diseases, Zika is sexually transmitted. In fact, the very first case we noted in the district was someone who had contracted the virus sexually. 2 folk, actually. A gentleman returned from, confidentiality sake, I won't say from just where, but someone returned, infected his wife and the sexual partner outside the primary relationship. So the virus is sexually transmitted. We distribute, in addition to mosquito repellent, in addition to mosquito dunks, which you can use in standing water, let's say wading pools or bird baths in your backyards or whatnot, kiddie swimming pools, dunks, which last up to 30 days and can kill mosquito larvae up to a surface area of 100 square feet. These mosquito dunks will not harm birds or pets or children, but they are very effective in killing the mosquito larvae so that the mosquitoes never get to the stage of hatching. We encourage our residents to be proactive in doing things that we all can do, such as eliminating any vectors on our properties, old tires or things we might store in the backyard. If you see your neighbors with standing water, a lot of folk like to keep buckets, a lot of folk keep junk in the backyards. I remember growing up, my mother would always get on my father about, why don't you throw away those old tires? And my father would say, oh, I can use them, I'm going to do this and do that. We encourage you not to become confrontational with any of your neighbors. Just to basically say, hey, you know, those mosquitoes can breathe in that water, and you know, we can all get bit, because in this particular ward, where we have an abundance of parks and creeks and all, mosquitoes are very prominent in the summertime. We ask that you give us a call, and we will interact with your neighbor who might not want to get with the program. If we find that people have standing water on their property, we'll talk to them. We'll give them 10 days to remediate the problem, and then we'll slap them with a $1,000 fine. We're very serious about that, because the virus, for most of us, for the overwhelming majority of us, would have no symptoms at all. For those of us who would get symptoms, get a little bump like you would with any mosquito bite, or in this case with Zika, you could get a little rash. You could get a headache or feel nauseous. But after about a week or so, it's gone. So it's really, for the overwhelming majority of us, no more serious or no more of a nuisance than, let's say, a bad cold or flu in the worst case scenario. The concern is for women who are pregnant, because the virus can be transmitted to the fetus. Babies can be born with any number of neurological conditions, microcephaly being the principal one, where the infant is born with a tiny head. There were a couple of deaths last year in New Jersey, and there can be other neurological conditions, and some of these do not manifest themselves until way down the road. So again, check your storm drains, any places on your property where there may be standing water. We recommend that in traveling or going outside in the summer when the mosquitoes are out, that you wear long sleeves. And we know in the summer, folk want to wear short sleeve shirts or sleeveless blouses, sandals, shorts or whatnot. We suggest, particularly in the evening, long trousers. If, though, you just got to wear those new shorts or that new dress, we say use mosquito repellent with DEET. And the kits we distribute include that. I brought 100 of these kits to distribute, and I'll just show you what the contents are. Remember, I mentioned the mosquito repellents, mosquito dumps. These you can throw into, let's say, bird bath. You have something in your yard, let's say a storm drain or something where water collects at some point, just put one in. Now this little donut will last for 30 days, and it will kill mosquito larvae in a surface area of up to 100 square feet. So if you have a green thumb like I do, you have plants and whatnot on your deck or your porch, and you have the saucers under your flower pots, you don't need this whole thing in it. You can crumble it and just sprinkle some in the tray beneath your flower pot. You can also buy these granules at your plant stores or places like Home Depot that are already crushed, and you can just sprinkle them around. Now, I live here in Stebbin also. I live in Deanwood, and the mosquitoes there and in Eastland Gardens are the most vicious in the city. And so, seriously, they are. And so when I get home, I think because I do all this talking about Zika, they've got like a plot against me. So I have to make a beeline to my front door because they attack my bald head. And when I'm out cutting the grass, I do wear long sleeves. I do wear a cap or something. You know, if I want to get some vitamin D, I use lots of mosquito repellent on my head. I have to. And, you know, just shower when you get inside. You don't want to put it around your eyes, but it's very important to use the mosquito repellent liberally. And this is what we recommend. It's CDC approved. You see this in your flower stores, in your hardware stores. We say use it liberally. You can use it on children also. However, if you're going to use it on children and the kids are always putting their hands and fingers in their mouths, we say don't let them apply it. You spray it on your hands and then you rub it on them and then wash your hands. Okay, so this is the mosquito repellent. We got the dumps. And as I mentioned, we also, because this virus is sexually transmitted, we also, in the kits that we distribute, provide condoms. We provide the male condoms as well as the female condoms. There's some guys in the city, and not just in Washington, so I don't want to pick on us, but a lot of guys in general are knuckleheads and they don't want to use protection. So we want women to be able to empower themselves, so we provide the female condoms, their directions in the packages, and the woman would apply this, she would insert this as she would a diaphragm. And so that is very important because if you recall, in late summer, there was an outbreak in the Miami area, North Miami and other areas in Florida, and then it spread to the west coast of Florida. And we suspect any number of those individuals had not just returned from travel, but had come back and hard-headedly had not wanted to use protection in terms of sexual relations. So that's very important. And as I mentioned, we do have various instructions inside. What I'd like to do is to entertain any questions that you might have at this point, anything that I didn't cover. I tried to be as broad as I could. Yes, in the back?
Yes, the little pellets you said you put around in the water, are they dangerous to animals?
No, let me repeat. These are not dangerous to your pets. They're not harmful to birds or kids. If you have, a lot of people have kiddie pools in their backyards, and you can use these in your kiddie pool, and they will not harm children. And they last. One little donut can last up to 30 days. Yeah. But again, let me just repeat. If you've got the sauces under your flower pots, you can crumble this. You don't need this whole thing in it. But in my case, as I say, because mine are vicious, I just remove the trays and I let the water flow through the deck. Yes, ma'am.
What's the procedure for keeping a full-size pool, swimming pool safe?
Sure. If you have a full-size swimming pool, it's treated with chlorine, and the chlorine will prevent any mosquito larvae from hatching. This is only for the little wading pools that you have for kids or bird baths. Yes, ma'am.
What makes the mosquitoes around Greenwood Garden so much more dangerous?
They don't like me. No, but seriously, we're near the aquatic gardens, which abuts the Arboretum, and we've got lots of creeks, Margate Park, and things around it. Now, I'm here, and I was here last year for the DuPont Park Civic Association, and then I talked to Hillcrest because we are near, we've got all these parks, Fort DuPont, Fort Davis, and so wherever there's a lot of parkland and brush, that's where mosquitoes get. Yes? Someone else? Okay, the mayor has come, so I'm going to wrap up. Actually, I'll chat with you afterwards, sir. Okay. And let me just say also that we do have information on ticks, because I understand you're concerned about the deer and whatnot that are in the area, and a lot of this information tells you how you can protect yourself from the deer. Yes, we have information on how you can protect yourself. And I'll be around after the mayor speaks if anyone has any questions. Mr.
Morgan, thank you very much. So I just want to ask everybody if you can have a seat. We know other people will be coming in, and we know that they'll be bringing food in. So I just want to kind of quiet the room down. We have a couple camera people here. So I'll just ask for everybody just to be cognizant of your noise. So I don't want to waste too much time, but I just want to bring the room back in order. Mr. King will be able to answer questions at the end of the meeting, and then we'll continue with other parts.